Hey all, hello and welcome back once more, Tony Bing here. For this test centre video we'll have a look at Iceman. Now he does look quite similar to live. He's got his range build, his melee build and his summon build still. Summon build seems to be buffed a little bit, the range and melee do look very similar, but let's run through these skills. So we'll start off with the freezing beams tree, which just has more ranged attacks. Okay, so first up we have Chill Blane, and with this it's a basic ranged attack and it adds chill. Each hit slows movement and attack speed by 40% for 6 seconds. We'll talk about chill and deep freeze once we get to the traits. Next up we have Snowplow, which is just his standard dash move, and then you have Ice Beam, and that's just a kind of ranged AoE trash cleaning move really, and that's got chill built into it as well. And then we have the range Spender Icicles. I love the animation on that particular one. And with this, damage bonus 25% for 5 seconds after you shatter an enemy. And then you've got Ice Slick, which is his vulnerability there. We're then following that up with Snowblower. We get a modification for that later on. And then we have Flash Freeze. I think this works slightly different maybe than it does on live, or maybe it doesn't offer as much a damage bonus, but with this you're getting vulnerability. Enemies take 200% extra damage from your next shatter power, and it's got a 4-second cooldown on it. It also directs your summons. And then finally you've got his signature there, Absolute Zero. Looks kind of similar as far as I can see there, but let's look at the next section, which is a mix of kind of summons and various different buffs. So it's Chilling Constructs. So we're starting off here with Frozen Lance, which is a shatter power. Now that would tie in with Flash Freeze, so you'd be using that and then you'd be using your shatter power after it there. Now for the summon side of things we've got Ice Golem, and you'll be casting this really to summon it. Pretty simple really. And then we're following that up with Arctic Wave, which is a first melee attack. That's also a shatter, that particular one. It's kind of like a mirror skill to this here really. And then you've got Ice Block, so it's giving you your invulnerability, your health regen, your spirit restore and your cooldown. I found on live you really did need that, mainly for the spirit restore there. And then you've got Work of Art, which is like a kind of taunt type summon. It's a bit strange. If I can remember correctly, that was his original signature, and I'm very glad they changed it and went for Absolute Zero instead. But next up, Frozen Orb. This is a skill that gets modified once we talk about the talents and traits, and it's quite a good modification, but as it is for the standard skill it's just the same. And then we have Glacial Wall, stop enemy projectiles and blocks enemy path. And these kind of skills, I do think they might come in useful once we get to mega difficulty and we're having to slow down enemies and kind of whittle them down, especially in team play. So it'll be interesting to see if they do provide, if they do come in useful. I think they actually will. And then we'll finish up this tree looking at Glacial Slam, which is your melee crash down move. Let's look at the talents and traits now. Now we'll start off as normal looking at the actual offensive and defensive traits before we talk about the talents. The offensive trait is Ice Mutation. This is base damage 15% to chilled enemies. The archetype is Adept, so you're gaining extra damage if you use the durability or energy attributes. For the defensive trait we have Ice Armor, so 3% deflect chance, and then you're gaining your multiplier on defense and also deflect rating. For the, I wouldn't really say it's a resource, but for the specific part of Iceman we have Sub-Zero. So with this, chill powers slow enemies movement and attack speed by 40% for 6 seconds. Deep freeze powers freeze enemies for 2 seconds, 4 seconds if used against a chill enemy. And then finally you've got your shatter, so you've basically got your different kind of levels of freezing enemies. You're chilling them, then you're freezing them completely, and then you're shattering them. So nice the way that kind of works there. For the talents, the first one we'll look at is Focus Beam. So with this, when you shatter an enemy, Ice Beam and Chill Blane gain 25% bonus damage, and that's for 5 seconds there. Pretty simple. And then next up you have Chill Powers apply Frostbite. So chill power damage goes up by 5%, and Frostbite's essentially a dot there, so that can be quite nice to add a dot to a lot of your skills. And then we have the Summon Allied side of things. This is Follow My Lead, and you gain a 5% chance when you hit to summon an Iceman clone. It's a little mini clone of him. I'll show you in just 1 second. And this just telling you about the clone stats and the health and the duration and what have you. Let me attack here. We'll hopefully see. I went for a fast attack, so hopefully we'll see some of these little clones getting summoned. Okay, it would actually help if I selected the talent. I'm going to use the excuse that I'm not feeling well, so you need to let me off with that one mistake. I won't make any errors here. Come on. Looks like they could possibly do way up in the rate on how long it takes on the proc chance for them to appear. Ah, there we go. That took a while. Quite nice, but I think by the looks of it, they need to do something with the kind of proc rate on it. That was far too long for that to appear there. Now, next up, we'll look at talent line number 2. So with this, we have Chilled to the Bone. So channeling Ice Beam for 1.5 seconds causes it to apply Deep Freeze. That's your Deep Freeze up there again. And the Chill Slow Potency is plus 50% and Deep Freeze Stun Duration plus 50%. So if you selected this and you're looking at an enemy that is Deep Freeze, I suppose 50%, you look at it 6 seconds to freeze them for, which is really quite huge. It would be good to maybe try and do a kind of CC build almost with that. Now, next up in this line we have Ice Crafted Weapons, which is all about the melee side of things. So damage reduction 8%, Chillblade transforms into Frozen Blades, and Ice Ghost transforms into Icy Arsenal. So we'll activate it, and there you go. You can see the two of them changing there. And then also Frozen Blades and Icy Arsenal are melee attacks with increased damage output. Now, third up, we have Frozen Orbs. They deal bonus damage based on your summoned ally damage, and the orb will roam around the battlefield, so I'll show you that. It's quite nice. Let's see, we'll fire it off here and see if it goes round the corner. And it didn't. But let's try it here. We'll fire it in this direction. There we go. Looks a little bit laggy, the animation, but you can see that it's kind of working its way towards the enemy. So that could be quite nice for a summoner build. Have your summons all attacking and just every so often fire in the general direction of an enemy, and that will go away and do some damage for you. Certainly different anyway. Now, for talent line 3, you got Icebreaker. So this is Shatter Effect damage plus 100% and Shatter Power damage up 5%. So it could really pull that up quite high. It's 200, so you're looking at 300 if you use this. And the Arctic Wave and Frozen Lands cooldowns are coming down. So that's these two here. I believe that's the build I used to use on live. It was a ranged one really around using the shatters. It was quite nice, quite a lot of damage it done. And then we've got Icy Aura. So Ice Block causes Deep Freeze to nearby enemies and triggers Snow Aura. This is Ice Block here. And the Snow Aura buff effect is a dot and a chill and an 8.8 second duration there. And then finally in this tree we have Golem Mastery, so it's your summon one. Summon ally damage 15%, Ice Golem duration 30 seconds, and it summons an additional 2 Ice Golems there. So in total you're looking at, let's see how many this summons. I think it's maybe only once in total. You're looking at 3 Ice Golems you'll be able to summon there, but you could also tie it in with this and have all the mini Icemen as well. And then of course you've got the pet here that I've got. You need to use that as well if you manage to get it. But let's look at talent line number 4. So you've got Chain Reaction. It's absolute 0 damage plus 10%, and when you shatter an enemy, absolute 0 cooldown comes down by a second. So that's your signature we're talking about there. And then another modifier of this signature is Empowered Minions for your summon builds. So increase the damage of any summoned Ice Golem by 100%. And you actually summon two Iceman clones as well there, so you could really have a lot of summons in the screen from that. And then finally you have Avalanche, so Snowblower damage plus 40%. Snowblower now causes you to travel forward on an ice sledge. So let's see this, we'll activate it. There we go. That's pretty nice, I do like that. Obviously that's an option for people concerned over movement changes. It's obviously not, it doesn't fix an awful lot, but if they're playing Iceman, then it certainly gives them some options there anyway. And for the 5th talent line we have Chilling Constructs. So this is Work of Art and Glacial Wall trigger a free Ice Slick at their spawn location, and this is your Ice Slick here, it's your vulnerability dot. And Frozen Lance and Arctic Wave will destroy any glacial wall, dealing so much damage. Then we have Last Ditch Defences, so regenerate 100% of your maximum health and spirit when you're defeated. Ice Block cooldown comes down, your max health goes up, and your defense rate multiplier goes up, so really using that would make you nice and tanky. And then we have Renewing Cold, so when you stand in Ice Slick's area of effect, again this skill here, you regen your spirit and your health as well there. that's quite nice. So overall he's nice. I think with these particular changes, as much as I was ranged before, I'll probably move towards summon and give it a try anyway. But once again, I hope you found the video useful. I'm going to do one more today and that'll bring me up to 10 for the day, and then I'm going to be done because I'm really struggling here. But thanks for tuning in and bearing with me through all these videos, and I'll see you all again soon.